Hey guys, it's Lewis from Recycle Bicycle Sales here. Today I have two bikes here that are 10 years and $1,000 apart. Let's have a closer look and see why that's the case. Here I have the Scott Speedster S40. This one's an aluminium frame and it has Shimano Tiagra on it and it has rim brakes as well. This would have been an entry to mid-range bike from back in 2009. And over here I have this Cube Lightning, which is a carbon fiber frame and it still has the rim brakes, but this one has Shimano 105 gearing. So a little bit more premium than the Scott, but still a mid-level racing road bike. So on this Scott over here, we have an aluminium frame and it's all welded together at these different tubes here. We've done a bunch of videos talking about aluminium versus carbon fiber, like this one over here. You can check them out on our channel. When we're looking at the two different frame options, aluminium and carbon fiber, I often describe carbon fiber as being a lot more comfortable. It's more comfortable because it's designed to flex and sort of absorb little vibrations as you're riding. It's also more lightweight, so it might make it a little bit easier to get up the hill, perhaps if you're going up a steep hill. But the only downside that you could say is that it's potentially a little bit more fragile. If you were to rest it up against a pole, for example, and it was to roll and hit the pole, it might cause a crack. Carbon fiber will crack, where aluminium will dent. Let's do some real world testing. I want to see how much lighter the carbon fiber ones actually are with these scales here. So the first one that I'll weigh would be the carbon fiber one, which I was saying is a little bit more comfortable, and we can trim all of that out, I'm sure. And I would be saying 7.71 kilos. And then the aluminium one that we've got here, let's have a quick look at what it says. 10, over 10 kilos. That, I would call that difference quite significant, a 3 kilo difference. That is actually quite a bit. So that's kind of the main reason why people move across to the carbon fiber, is to get that more lightweight, to go up the hill quite a lot easier. But aluminium is not bad. None of this is me saying that aluminium is bad. I'm just saying that carbon fiber is better. To quickly sum up the difference between the two, carbon fiber is a lot more lightweight and premium and feels nice and all that cool sort of stuff. Aluminium is really good from a budget side of things. The next part we can compare between these two bikes is the wheel sets. On this Scott here, we have a very generic Scott home brand, if you will, like their own brand of wheel. But this one has lots of spokes, so it's a very strong, robust, hard to break kind of wheel. But with that, obviously comes a bit of weight as well. So more entry level and just bulletproof, I suppose. Whereas when we look across at this Cube here, you can see we've got quite a few less spokes, so it's a more lightweight wheel. It's also Shimano branded, so I would make the assumption that it possibly has better bearings straight out of the factory, and it should hopefully just roll a little bit smoother. If you came into my bike shop and asked which wheel set should I be going for, I would be trying to steer you towards these ones because they're just more lightweight and better performance. Both of these options here actually have the exact same braking system. They both use the rim brakes, but we're 10 years apart between the two of them. Since we have the newer braking system, there's a brake shoe there, but there's also a brake pad inside of it. So I can replace just the brake pad if I needed to. It also means that there's more adjustment in sort of getting the brake pads lined up perfectly with the braking track. Whereas on these ones over here, the brake shoe is all one big item, so you've got a little bit less adjustment. If I'm trying to talk about a performance difference between the two of them, I could try and make it the argument that this brake pad is a little bit shorter and that one's a little bit longer, so maybe there's a little bit more braking surface on the braking track. To be honest though, I think we're splitting hairs here. Rim brake is rim brake. Now we're ready to start looking at the group sets. On this Scott over here, I can see that we have a 9-speed Shimano Tiagra group set. Tiagra is a group set that Shimano brought out that was the 4th in their list. A bit more of an entry-level group set, really good if you're just getting into the sport. If I was to quickly look across at the Cube here, I'll see that we've actually got 11 cogs on the back with a Shimano 105 group set and 2 on the front. So it means that we just have quite a few more gears. Having more gears is one of the biggest things that we notice when moving up into the newer technology. But at the end of the day, they're both still made by Shimano. So I trust that they're both good quality Japanese group sets. If we look a little bit closer down at this front crank set here, I can see that this one has a 5-bolt crank arm. A lot of newer bikes tend to have a 4-bolt, just like this. This has 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5-bolt chainrings tend to be a little bit harder to find on the market at the moment. I suppose it's just an age thing. Older bikes tend to be a little bit more difficult to find parts for. To sum up the difference between these two group sets here, I would say that the Scott is a little bit more limited. It's a bit harder to find parts for this particular group set. Whereas moving across to the Cube here, you should be able to walk into most local bike shops and I would expect that they would have parts sitting there ready to help you out. But we haven't done a performance test yet. let's run over to the workshop and give it a try. Quick performance test I wanted to do. I want to run all the way up the cassette and then all the way back down on both bikes and see the difference. Now this one has a few more cogs, so we'll see how it goes. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. What was that? 14.7 seconds. Let's have a look at how fast the Scott goes. All right, now let's have a look at the Scott as well. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. I think I might have misshifted in that easiest cog, but let's have a look anyway. All right, that was 11.23 seconds, so a little bit faster. I would argue that's possibly because we just have less cogs to go through. So where did I put that bike? There it is. Are the new gears faster? Hardly, to be honest. Once you're in the gear, you're in the gear. It's more just the feeling of that shift just feels a little bit more crisp in your hand. So I don't think I could ever talk down any sort of Shimano component. So yes, this is cheaper, doesn't mean it's worse. But the final thing we've got to talk about is aesthetics. Which one looks cooler? I know which one I think looks cooler. Let me know in the comments below which one you think looks cooler. My opinion is that a black bike never looks like last year's bike. And to finish this video, I've got to answer the question, which bike should you buy? Well, in my opinion, if your budget will allow, try and move across to a carbon fiber bike. I know that it's more expensive and sometimes that's very difficult, but if you can just squeeze over onto a carbon fiber bike, I think you're so much more likely to fall in love with cycling. So this is what a 10-year difference between mid-level bikes looks like. At the end of the day, they've both got 2 wheels and a frame, so they both look like a bicycle. It's just that technology's gotten a little bit smarter over time. If you want to come in and have a look at either of these bikes, they're both currently available at the time that we filmed this video. Hopefully they still are when the video goes up. Actually, hopefully they're not when the video goes up, but maybe they are. Send us a message if you've got any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to say thanks for watching this video and I hope you learned something. See you later.